who's my player to watch from Very Games, and MBK. For Na'Vi on the T side at the moment, we've got Starix, Zeus, C9, Markelov, and Edward. That concludes your Alienware roster rundown, and we are now live in the first round of MR3 overtime.
Let's see.
I'm saying we're live, actually. It can't be, because we've got, we got pistols, so, yeah. So we're going to get the restart with the appropriate amount of cash and rounds. And does the time change on max rounds free? I don't think it does it?
If you change the round time, you mean? No. It's going to be the same.
Yeah, so here we go. Restart coming in now. Good luck and have fun being exchanged. So nice to see that these two teams are capable of showing some sportsmanship.
It's important.
Yep, and as you can see, MBK asking MR3, right? Edward, don't know.
I don't know. Let's just play to the admin restarts, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it'll be run by script, so you would expect the e-bot to kick in and say, like, look, you've done your MR3 now, switch.
Yeah, it's going to be MR3. The game is live, and once again, we see the Na'Vi team setting up for that A-bomb site. Jay, you surprised?
Not particularly. I mean, I'd be more surprised if they played a bit more passively here and didn't go for the face check on the site. So it does seem like they've actually slowed down a little bit here. As you can see, MBK slowly making his way through on the flank. Not particularly seen anything so far that would stand out. With it being MR3, the first round is important. It does establish, because usually in the second round, if the AWPer goes for the full buy, he's going to struggle to full buy again in the second round. So that's probably why we are seeing a bit of cautious play here. Kenny not really wants to move forward now. We do have Markelov with the AK-47, so it seems like it's an intentional strat to sort of put Markelov on the rifle. I don't really agree with that, to be honest.
No, you can't really think of the economy when you got 10k and you start, NBK just backstabs Edward there, and this is going to put Na'Vi in a horrible position. They're getting pressure from every angle here, Jay. What do they do?
Yep, that flank is basically now folding in around this A-bomb site, and we're going to see the final kill from Kenny with that AWP. That's going to be Zeus dropped, and even the God of Thunder can't do anything about that. In fact, no, he's not the God of Thunder. That would be Thor, wouldn't it? Yeah. GG on my Greek mythology, but anyway, regardless, it's now basically looking at a scoreline where you're seeing Kenny and Scream and the guys, basically, they just had a flawless victory though. No deaths across the board, so even if they do lose this second round here, with the cash being the way that it is, they're not going to be forced to eco on the CT side. So I'd say they should very well take a minimum of 2 rounds here on this MR3 overtime, if not all 3.
Yeah, and Markelov picked up that up now. I'm glad he did, but it's going to mean that if they lose this round, he's not in a great place. And once again, they do push onto this A-bomb site, and let's see if they can get the bomb planted this round. I don't think it will matter, though, to be honest.
Well, Starix and C9 moving in aggressively yet again. Now is Markelov, that's what I was going to say, is Markelov looking for the counter pick here onto Kenny, because it's not like Kenny's changed up the spot he's been AWPing from at all. So first time we've really seen Na'Vi adjust the strategy. You see Edward again looking for that to cut the rotation. He needs to be getting into sight, because as you can see, Very Games slowly getting to a position where they could threaten a retake here.
The Scream being put down to 8 HP though, Jay, and Scream is a huge asset for the Very Games lineup. Edward is going to go up for that backstab soon.
As you can see though, Smiths he was covering it. He's going to drop C9, and there's the defusal. Again, I mean, more of the same really. We didn't see the Ninja coming down, but it's a fairly safe assumption that once that plant's been down for anything longer than 15 seconds, if Very Games are on site, somebody's going to be on that bomb. Yeah,
absolutely. And for Na'Vi not to expect it still, yeah, it's weird. It's really weird. But on the bright side, Markelov did not die that round, so he does have that up for this third and final round. And Na'Vi really needs to get, I feel they need to get 1 round heading into the CT side.
Yeah, as a safety cushion, basically. I mean,
Very Games has all the momentum. They played CT last. Oh,
yep.
Zeus.
Well, Zeus going to grab the kill onto Scream. He's going to open up the A for an approach here for a plant, but to be perfectly blunt, I mean, I wouldn't even think about going for the plant here if I was Na'Vi until I had at least a 2-man advantage.
Now Na'Vi is playing it completely different now. They're playing it passively, a bit more like I'm used to seeing Na'Vi. As I say, that NBK picks up that kill onto Markelov in middle, and little fire duel going between Edward and NBK. Edward being the most successful one, and now the push comes onto AJ.
Yep, as you can see, Zeus slowly making his way around. He's going to be going for the backstab here. Let's put you back onto auto-director because, as you can see, Kenny in a position here. He's actually changed his position up now. He's playing still over towards B, but he's not made the rotation yet. I think that's because he's somewhat terrified of the fact that Markloff's going to have the drop on him on the rotation, so he's leaving that rotation as long as possible. Smith shutting down Zeus on the entry. Starrick's going to grab a headshot just before that, though, so 3-on-2 situation in favour of Na'Vi here. Bomb going down. This could be the first time that we've seen this A plant actually be successful since the final round of the second half of the first map. That was a mouthful.
Oh, Kenny S is going for that 1v3 here. Will he be able to pick up the round?
Well, he's got money, so it's not like even if they lose the round, he's going to be too bothered about that. So
it's a last and final round as well, so why wouldn't he?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously, being the final round, he's going to go for it anyway. But even if that was the second round, he would have had the money to buy. So, as you can see from the scoreboard, fairly even performances there from the top 4 in server. Nothing really outstanding from any one individual here in the MR3 overtime, just you sort of standard play really. So we are going to get the switch here now. We're going to see Very Games move over to this T side. And to be honest, I think even though it was 15-15, I think Very Games played a better T side. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them go 2-1 here and force another OT.
I think that Very Games will get at least one round ST. They've got more strategies in their playbook than Na'Vi does on this map. So I'm still leaning towards Very Games winning this map. But they really had to work for it, Jay. They pretty much had to use every strategy they've got, which is going to hurt them later in the tournament if Mirage gets picked. Because obviously teams like NIP and every other good team like ESC will have access to the demos, will probably have seen this game also. So. And
then they'll start looking for what Markloff has started to look for, that kill into Smiths on the rotation. Now MBK with that headshot into Zeus, so it does seem like we are going to see the opening kill go in favour of Very Games here. Now can Very Games start to press this advantage? It does seem like we have very passive play here from Very Games, holding up in those A apartments. And see Smiths actually fall back to hook up the rest of his team here. So this is how I think Mirage should be played, to be honest, on the T side. I think you should look for a pick. You should try and force the issue with the AWP, get the second kill, open up the site for a plant, and then defend the plant. Yeah. And it's not rocket science at the end of the day. It's basic Counter-Strike fundamentals. And to see Na'Vi just rush in COD 4 style, go for the quick plant, it was kind of eye-opening. I mean, it worked to a certain degree, I suppose, because they did manage to get a draw game out of it, but they really should have been in a position after that first half to pick up the victory, because Very Games did not get what it was looking for from that CT side. Now, speaking of Very Games, they're going to be rushing into the A site. Plant going down here. So now a 5-on-2 situation, and this is going to be probably the first T round of the second half of MR3 overtime on the board for Very Games. So from this point forward now, Very Games have got to feel, well, as long as we take this round, we've got that safety margin now. We've got the one round that we need to force another overtime. We've got 2 rounds to pick up another round. We should very well win this. Yeah, Very Games winning this round sends a clear message to Na'Vi, being on the easier side and pretty much getting rinsed. No, it's not one player from the Very Games lineup who's been put 6 feet under by Na'Vi. There's the first kill, but it's an exit frag. It doesn't really count. It had nothing to do with the outcome of the round. Yeah, especially in overtime as well. I mean, exit frags count for less than nothing in overtime. Exactly. So, I mean, Very Games surely will win this in this first overtime. I don't see them having to go into a second one, but they've secured it, which is nice for them. Yeah, I mean, stranger things have happened. We could see Na'Vi hold out here for the 2 remaining rounds and force a second overtime, but really the way that Very Games have been playing for the past sort of 20 minutes, I think they've got the confidence that they were lacking now at the first half. So I do anticipate them actually. Yep, that's going to help the cause as well. MBK actually rocking an AWP. So do we have 2 AWPs in play? Kenny got one? Well, we didn't even get a chance to check it out because Kenny got dropped by Zeus, so maybe we can check his dead body. I don't think Zeus is going to give us an angle to have a look, though, so could always jump into free cam, but to be honest, I don't care that much. I'm going to check for you. They were rocking 2 AWPs, yes. So, interesting strat. That could actually cash damage them, I suppose, if they lose both those AWPs. I would still anticipate they'd have enough to buy AK, so. Existence from behind, it opens up with the AK. That's going to be Zeus dropped, and this is not looking good here for Na'Vi. 4-on-3 with the A site now pretty much under Very Games control. They've got the approaches on lock. All they've got to do is get MBK in a position where he can pick here. Now he's got a very good idea that there's somebody there mid. He does get a decent nade off that's going to remove some of Edward's health. As you can see, we've got the quick switch coming in from Very Games now. They're going to go through the connector.
This is such a smart decision by Vera Games, having to having to be the caster, looking over the entire map. I think rotating back onto B is a great decision by Vera Games. It's going to be hard to hold for Na'Vi here. It's all up to Starix really. Gets that first kill onto Scream. Senio gets kills while Starix with a second kill there. Phenomenal play by Starix, holding down that side, and it's now all up to NBK. He's got the bomb, and he's got he had an AWP, but he's changed it up for an AK now.
Nice. Oh, lucky.
Yeah. Once again, the time runs out without me noticing.
Yeah, C9 was smart enough though, where he realised that. That's why he didn't peek. He knew the bomb was not going to go down. So I suppose a good run there from Na'Vi. That's going to make it 1-1 on this half of OT. So still a chance here for Very Games to lock it down. They did come pretty close though. The switch to B was probably the right thing to do in that position. It's just the fact that Starix had the drop on the entry. He did manage to pick up the most important entry frag to drop the bomb, because if they would have got the bomb down, that should have been a victory really. Now MBK again with the AWP. He's going to actually pick off Markelov. So. Probably not an open AWP kill, because Markelov has been rifling, but still, it's gonna burn to be taken out by your own weapon of choice.
It always does. It hurts your pride kind of as well. But Scream has been taken down. Smith down to 50 HP. It's all up to Edward Suze and Starix here for Na'Vi. Suze picks up one. Starix gets taken out. Suze picks up his second kill. It's down to 2v2. Will Suze pick up any more kills? Edward picks up NBK. Suze down to 9 HP. Gets taken out by Kenny S. And it's now all down to Edward versus Kenny S. And Edward having a little bit less HP, but having the positional advantage here. He knows where Kenny S is. He's going in for the kill. Will he get it? Yes, he will. It's down to a second overtime here, Jay.
Yep. You know, I'm all for as much overtime as we can fit in on Mirage, because it's not necessarily one of the maps that we see on a regular basis. To see two teams of this caliber so evenly matched, it's kind of nice, because I don't think we're going to see that on either Dust 2 or Inferno. I think those are going to be closed out in regulation time. So. We are going to get the restart in. Hopefully they're going to restart straight away and not take a break, because obviously they've only played 6 rounds. It's not like it's an extraordinary amount of CS to play. So does seem like we got. Looks like both readies in. So the E-bot is going to send us live. So good stuff. Let's give you the quick Alienware Games game victorious roster rundown. Of course, Very Games back on the CT side now. We've got Scream, Smiths, Existence. In fact, we've not switched teams properly yet. Yeah, there we go. Cancel coming in. So. It looks like we do have a sort of a mixed bag, but it is going to be Very Games on the CT side, so it's going to be, of course, Scream, Smiths, Existence, Kenny S, and MBK. And for Na'Vi on the T side, you're going to have Starix, Zeus, Edward, C9, and Markelov. That concludes your Alienware roster rundown. And we're not going too far from live here. We're just waiting for the teams to sort of get on the right teams, basically. Unless we're playing some kind of bizarre mix here to break the deadlock. It's
the special rules of the ESH Mad Catz tournament, mate. If you go longer than one overtime, you have to mix it up, because obviously we've stagnated. It's not the game won't end, and to secure no more delays. Yeah, we're going for the mix in. Obviously,
well, to be honest, now we are back on track. I mean, we did have quite a few delays yesterday. We had some issues with Disruptor not wanting to use a particular resolution, which, to be honest, whatever. It was like 3 hours of a delay, and then of course we had the whole DDoS debacle, which now seems to be behind us at least. Basically, I mean, we're back on track, but that was because of heroics by Gonzo and the whole admin team, basically making sure that the players actually were forced to play and not bring this into tomorrow. Yeah. Because obviously, we have 2 days to play what is a 16-team tournament. Obviously,
with 2 group stages and best of 3 playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. So there is going to be a lot of Counter-Strike played today, but it's all conceivable that it's going to go down today. Yep. So I can see it sticking to, I wouldn't say schedule, because I don't think I've ever done a tournament that's stuck to schedule, but not far from schedule, let's say that.
I think so as well. We're down to the playoffs, and we're not going to have any lower bracket in this tournament, which makes it a lot more easy to kind of stick on schedule. I think you don't have the upper bracket waiting for the lower bracket teams to finish, etc. The games will finish, and then
it's just
the
one
next stage.
straight flow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we shouldn't really have any delays today, unless we got any technical issues, which once we always get it, don't we?
I'm pretty certain that we will see some, my mouse drivers aren't working properly, some of that kind of stuff going on.
Someone kicked my PC.
Less said about that, the better, I think. Let's not cause any more controversy than we have to. But I think at this point now, with the game unfolding the way that it has done, If we see any more close games like this, I mean, that will put us back on schedule a bit. But to be honest, I mean, the rest of the quarterfinals should all be relative lockouts.
This is a really weird quarterfinal. We talked about it earlier. This could very well be the final.
Yeah,
two great teams.
Well, I mean, the final if Ninjas in Pajamas weren't around, obviously. I mean, NIP being at the tournament.
Goddamn NIP, man.
Yeah, I know. We got at least to duck one of them for one tournament so we can have another victor or something. You know, just put them in a cupboard or something for the whole event. And then
we can just, if we get double the prize money, we can just pay them off, give them the first prize, and we'll...
It's a possibility. Pay them not to enter.
We'll hold a side tournament without NIP.
Yeah.
Is that fine, Heaton? Yeah? No?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, that first half, of course, 15-15, now into overtime. Second lot of overtime coming up. Do you have a prediction here on the second lot of OT for me?
I'm still gonna stick by my pick of Very Games, and it's not because my background in Counter-Strike Source. I just feel that Very Games has a lot better team play when taking over bomb sites, and they got a lot more strategies for their T side than I've seen out of Na'Vi.
Yeah,
So.
The strength of Very Games' CT side is kind of exaggerated by the fact that Na'Vi have just done the same thing over and over and over on the T side. So
yeah, that's true.
I think if Na'Vi switched it up a little bit, and it doesn't have to be like a B fake to A plant or anything like that. All it has to be is they have to slow it down and get that numerical advantage. If they can get the head around that, then I would say that the CT bias would be somewhat negated and they would have a chance of winning. But as it stands right now, I would say Very Games have got the stronger CT side, and the two T sides are pretty even. So I think if there is going to be a victory, it's going to be secured by Very Games' CT half.
Yeah, pretty much. It's going to probably be a 3-0 in overtime at the CT half for Very Games, maybe. And they have no problems picking up at least one round ST. And I have to agree with you, saying that the VG CT play is phenomenal. Might be an exaggeration, seeing as they only do one strat, this Na'Vi team currently. But we really haven't had the chance to see Very Games play against any other strats. So for all we know, they're actually better at holding the B or the fakes or...
I would say the fact that they have Existence and Smiths on that B site means that they are going to be strong though.
Yeah. It's going to be a wall.
Yeah, and I have to say that the fact that they're now coordinating rotations from site to site doesn't bode well for Na'Vi. I mean, if Na'Vi would have played them yesterday on Mirage, I think they probably would have taken them because the communication was just not in place. But obviously, you know, as it stands right now, it seems like they've righted that. Now, we are still waiting of one player here in server. That's going to be, who's it going to be?
He's back up now. He just had to reconnect for that team change, and the players are calling for the live now, so we will be going live in just a couple of seconds.
MBK does have a good point there. I think Very Games should be on T to start off with because you switch up the sides.
I agree. That's the norm, really.
Yeah.
Given they are given the easy side in every overtime, and that is not fair at all. Okay, Marklov. All right, so Na'Vi really being professional here. They know that the CT side is a lot easier, but they know that in the end you have to win both sides of the map. And I'm quite surprised to see this kind of sportsmanship, not out of Na'Vi, but in general. Come from Source, we didn't really experience this kind of sportsmanship, so I'm glad to see this happen.
I think, to be honest, the 1-6 and Source mix has led to more sportsmanship.
Yeah.
Because you don't have the old grudges. Yeah. You know, you have a mixed bag of tricks now, and there's all the history between the teams that used to exist where you would have beef has either been squashed because there's been new players brought into those teams, or those teams have just dropped off and they're not anywhere near the top of the scene anymore. And you see the likes of Very Games playing against 1-6 teams who obviously have no history. So no doubt as Counter-Strike Go sort of progresses in age, we will start to see CS versus 1-6 beef in Go, because that's standard fare really for Counter-Strike. It's always going to be that way. But at the moment it is quite nice. Now we are going live, so it seems like we are going to see Very Games actually on the CT side here.
And
they want to swap, actually.
They are trying to do the swap, Very Games. I'm not sure if they've decided to go T because they want to start T. They might actually
they want to abide by the rules, to be honest.
Or they abide by rules, or they just want to force the sportsmanship.
Yeah,
really.
well, I think basically what it boils down to is Very Games know all too well about default hunting. Usually in CSS, that was the only way most teams would get around off them in smaller tournaments and such. So I don't think they want to give any possible leeway. Although we did see Na'Vi say, yeah, that's fine, we'll do whatever. So I suppose the tacit acknowledgement would mean that there wouldn't be a default anyway. But perhaps, like you say, they do have, you know, they want to know what they've got to do on that CT side coming into the second half. Like you said before, though, I mean, you've got to play both halves. If you're good at handling the pressure and you do lose 3-0 on the T side, it shouldn't be an issue anyway, because all then you've got to do is come out and just lock down your CT side, which you should be capable of at this level of play anyway.
Yeah. So I think we agree on that point. Let's see, we're missing just one player on the Na'Vi CT side here, and there we are. We should be going live now, and players are calling have funs. So let's take it away, Jay.
Yep. So second half of overtime. Second lot of overtime. There we go. First half underway now. Of course, Very Games versus NATUS VINCERE, and we are seeing really what has to be considered the game of the tournament so far. Like I said, this could very well, you know, decide who goes second place. To be honest, for my money.
Yeah, I totally agree. And seeing double overtime in the first map of this just bodes well for the remainder of it.
Yeah, I mean, how many quarterfinals can you think of in recent memory in either 1-6 or CSS where you've had such a tight game in the quarters?
It's just I can't think of any. I'm entertained to the point that I just want to go and get some popcorn, really.
You know, it would be nice to be not actually casting this and just be able to sit back and watch, you know, with beer or whatever. But if you are going to get, you know, if you are going to do something as a career, why not cast, you know, Navi against Very Games every day of the week?
Can't complain.
There's worse things you can do with your time. Let's say that.
Oh, but Very Games have been put down to very low HP here. It is a 3v3, but they have
distinct advantage here in favour of Navi. Yeah.
Oh, Mark Love picks up that kill onto Scringe. It's going to
Molotov on site as well. That's going to deny the plant for the time being. Existence did manage to pick that bomb up. 2 men to find. He's not going to do it. It's going to be the first round over to Navi, and that's going to be the perfect start here for that CT side. So unlike the first lot of overtime where we saw them lose the first round, they've picked up that first CT round. It seems like they've righted any butterflies that they did have going, and now they're in the ascendant dominant position where all they've got to do is lock out these 2 rounds, and then they're at least assured, you know, a third set of OT.
Yeah, and I'm glad to see players utilizing the incendiary grenades. It's cool to see the new elements being played, used in strategies. Oh, a push here coming in from Zenio, but this time around NBK says no, but Zeus being the backup there and gets the reply kill onto NBK, making it a 4v4 and pretty much just nullifying the advantage they had. And Very Games slowly moving over towards that B bomb site now, and hopefully for them, Starix won't be as well prepared as he was last time when he got those 2 important kills. He's setting up for that grenade to be put down in those hallways, and that might be devastating for the Very Games lineup.
It could very well be. I mean, if he gets the right angle on this toss now, that's going to do a whole heap of damage to all guys who are at 100 HP now. It seems like Kenny's going to counter nade out. Nade did only do some, well, it dropped Scream down to 63 HP, so it didn't do as much damage as it possibly could have. But the M4 does pick up the slack headshot to finish it off, so the fact they did connect with that nade made sure that the headshot did actually get the kill. So good play here. Does look like B site is going to be slowly overwhelmed, but the retake now starting to come in.
Missing that incendiary grenade, Starix, and does get picked off by a nade by Smith. But Starix already done what he needs to. He's got 2 kills, and Smith getting that kill onto Markloff as well. It's all down to Zeus now in a 1v2, but he's got a perfect position here. Will he be able to take it? No. Exixons get that last kill, and it's a round on the board for Very Games.
Yep, and that's a much needed round, because now that does give him a safety cushion going into the CT side where they could lose 1 round and not particularly sweat it. But to be honest, the way that Navi have approached the T side, I think that puts Very Games now in a position where they'd be hard pressed to lose this overtime now.
Yeah. Always good to get that 1 round on the worst side of the map in overtime. You always feel a lot more comfortable, not only in this round but also going over to the CT side, really not having that much pressure on you. Let's see what Very Games are up to. They're just a bit split out on the map here, Jay. They're just looking for offensive Na'Vi players. Yeah, they're looking for those loose picks. Obviously, C9 time and time again has peaked. Now, I was going to make the point last round that C9 giving up the kill that he did early, he didn't establish where anybody from Very Games was. No. So it wasn't worth it. He gave away an easy frag, opened up the A site, made the rotation to be a lot more viable, because obviously you don't want to rotate when you lose a member on the site that you're stacking. Basically, you don't want to make the early rotation just in case it's a fake.
And very games are perfectly capable of selling, you know, a very believable fake to make you rotate early. So Navi did leave it as long as possible to actually rotate, and I think that's what made the difference on the B site, to be honest.
It's a very good point from you, Jay. Trading frags will always be an advantage for the terrorists because they can always hit together at that one player at that one side. But as we say,
it's simple divide and conquer, really, isn't it? When it boils down to it.
Oh, Scream with two
double frags, nice, and a hat trick. Moves in for the AK kill to Starix, who really has been the one guy who's kept that B site unlocked. Now, it seems like Very Games have noticed a bit of a weakness here over towards B. They seem to be putting a lot of pressure on it. Zeus with the M4 frag, he's going to be on the rotation. C9 coming in from A as well. That's going to shut down the B push, and that's going to be the first half of the second round of OT done. And now we are going to see the switch come in here. So we're going to see Very Games switch over to the much more powerful CT side. And I think they're going to lock this down for 3-0, and we're going to move into Dust 2 just after this.
Yeah, I think so as well. Well, actually, you know what I'm going to call? Third overtime.
I mean, it's a distinct possibility. I just think the way that the Navi have approached that A-bomb site, they haven't shown me anything to make me believe that they're going to be capable of doing anything but face rushing, getting the plant, and then having the retake go against them, which in OT, not a big deal, to be honest. You can see from the overview, it looks like we are seeing standard setup, really. I mean, you've got Zeus and Edward going mid with Markelov covering the catwalk, C9 covering towards A from the back, so...
But for once, they are a lot more men over towards that B-bomb site, which is quite interesting. And BK picks up that kill onto Starks, which is huge, because Starks has been on fire, hasn't he, Jay?
Yep. I mean, it's a massive kill to make, and it also means now that MBK can actually start to rotate over towards A and have a look, which he's exactly doing. He grabs the headshot onto Edward. Markloff does pick off an AWP opening kill, so... A is a little bit weaker, but as you can see, I mean, the fact that we did get the early rotation in there from MBK has pretty much negated any advantage they would have had from that initial pick onto the A site itself. So 4-on-3 situation, MBK down below half health, only just though, with all three members from Navi at full health. Really, at this point now, it's basically just Very Games waiting to force the situation here with 34 seconds left. Navi are going to have to move, and they're going to have to move quickly. Now, Smith's caught completely unawares though by the flank. C9 eventually killed in return by Scream, though, so kill for kill here. I think that's working in favour of Very Games, isn't it?
Well, yeah, when it's when the Navi has only 2 players left, it's going to favour them. Ah, huge kill from Kenny S. And it's all down to Markelov now.
Well, Markelov, he was looking for, I think, the cheeky plant there, but not going to happen for him. He gets shot in the neck, and that's going to be the end of the round. So 2 apiece now in overtime. If Very Games lock up the next 2 rounds, that is going to secure them the victory here on Mirage. And you'd have to say that coming into Dust 2, which I would still favour Navi on, perhaps the confidence boost that the OT victory is going to give Very Games is going to make that a much more entertaining game than perhaps we would have thought. Yeah,
I agree, and I have to point out that last round that. Smith being picked off was all entirely Scream's fault. That was Scream's angle to hold, and being picked off there, Smith not going to be happy about it. And also Markelov buying an AWP in that first round and getting picked off, so money not really great. They didn't even get the plant either.
Yeah. So I mean, the fact that they didn't get the face rush, not as big a deal as it would be in sort of MR15, but it does mean that Markelov now, if he loses this round, he's not going to have the money to buy. I mean, if you lose this round, it's pretty much GG anyway, but... Edward going to grab the opening kill. That's now 5-on-4. So this is the point where Navi need to be pushing and pressing the advantage.
He's quite low on HP. It will be taken out by Zeus. It's down to 3v5 here in favor of Navi, and we are maybe looking at the potential third overtime as Edward picks up a kill on Tech Sixens as well, Jay.
Well, Starix has started to make his rotation. He was over towards B, he's come around the back. Zeus is going to be planting now. It's going to leave MBK as last man standing. Does grab a headshot onto Edward. All of it to do here, though. 4 frags to find. He's not going to retreat here. He's going to try and get all 4 frags, but it's just not happening for him. And there's a second one. Can't really particularly perceive him getting the 5-man. Yeah, I think he's just going to retreat here. He's realised that there's no chance of taking that. Oh, HE coming in from Markelov. That's going to get the kill. And now seeing a 3-2 scoreline. So Very Games do need to pick up this victory here to actually force the third set of overtime, I should say.
Yeah.
So from what should have been a victory for Very Games, we're now seeing the possibility of Navi picking up 2 rounds to 1 on the T side and actually taking a victory here in overtime and perhaps taking the first map.
Yeah, and that would be fair play, winning it in the second overtime by winning enough runs on the T side. that would be
yeah.
just
I don't think anybody
It's
could
good.
complain about that, even
No.
considering the way that Navi played the TMR15 rounds,
No.
which, to be honest, wasn't what we normally expect to see from a team their caliber. But even so, the overtime performance so far from Navi has been nothing short of, at least in this set of overtime.
Yeah, I agree.
Been nothing short of miraculous.
They've improved their play and changed stuff up a bit. And Smith here opening up to Markloff. Take it away, Jay.
Yep, well, it does seem like it's going to be a one-man advantage. Negate that, actually, as Edward grabs a headshot. Back to a one-man advantage, though, because Distance did drop Zeus just before that. Does seem like we are going to see Edward starting to prep that A-bomb site for the approach, but again, I mean, it's one of those problems now where very games have made the rotation. You can see they've, well, I was going to say they did have Scream in a good spot, but he gets shut down by C9, so the headshot coming in for the AK-47. Kenny starting to rotate, 3-on-3 kill low. Obviously had the drop on C9 there as he comes around. He knew exactly where he would be at. So good map awareness from Smiths. Wouldn't expect anything less, though, to be honest. Starix and Edward starting to move in. A-bomb site being overwhelmed. Good flashbang coming in. That's going to force Smiths to actually find cover. Most inappropriate time for a lag ever. Right. Missed both kills. Cheers. Thanks, GoTV.
And we're going to a third overtime on the first map of what has been an epic game thus far, Jay. This is really just fantastic. As we are losing connection to this GoTV, because well, gotta understand the GoTV is having a hard time figuring out what's going to happen in this game.
You know what? It could have been worse. It could have ended up like it did yesterday, where we lost it with like 30 seconds to go and what was a 15-15 draw in the group. So at least we got that MR